Hello, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. Well, folks, this is a different type of show today because I am by myself. And this is my anniversary show. Yay! Happy anniversary to me being on Passionate World Talk Radio Network. I actually have two anniversaries with Passionate World Talk Radio Network. I have been on Passionate World Talk Radio Network for 6 years this past June, and also my 5th anniversary of Chatting with Betsy is coming up on September 19th. So I wanted to combine both anniversaries and to thank you, the listeners, for listening to my show, for subscribing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you listening, and I hope that you will tell others about Chatting with Betsy show. I also want to thank all the people who've been on my show. You know who you are if you listen. Thank you. And I want to thank one person in particular, a big shout out of thanks and gratitude to Lissa Warren, who is president of Lissa Warren PR, who sends me her clients, and they make up a big part of Chatting with Betsy. So thank you to Lissa Warren. I also have to thank Jeanne White, who's station manager at Passionate World Talk Radio. And I want to thank Lillian Cauldwell, who's CEO at Passionate World Talk Radio, for mentoring me and teaching me the ins and outs of being a show host. Excuse me. I want to tell a story on how I started on Passionate World Talk Radio. For those of you who don't know, my background actually has nothing to do with being a talk show host. I was not trained for this. I did not even know what a podcaster was 6 years ago. I didn't know much about internet radio 6 years ago. And I would go in my car to do videos about caregiving back when people were not doing that. And I would post them to different Facebook groups, support groups. And I was always hoped that someone would interview me. It was very hard and difficult to find someone who would have me on their show because people were not talking about caregiving back then. And karma has it, and it worked out that one Sunday night back in June of 2018, Jeanne White said she went on her computer, opened it up, and there I was. And she heard me talking about caregiving, and she wanted to interview me. So Jeanne contacted me, asked me if I would do an interview on her show. I said, of course. I was so excited. Excuse me. I was so excited about it. And I told Matt. And, of course, Matt said, don't talk about me, booby. And I did the show, and I was really shocked and honored that Jeanne said, I'm starting a show, and I would like for you to speak weekly. Well, I didn't expect that, and I said, sure, I could do that. I'm not a professional speaker. And Jeanne said, that's fine. You speak from the heart, and that's what's important. And so I talked on Jeanne White's Connect show for a little over a year. Excuse me. I apologize, folks. The air in New Jersey is very thick right now. Gets my asthma going. And I said, I got my friends to come on. Now, folks, you have to remember, back in 2018, there wasn't many podcast shows about caregiving. Caregivers did not want to talk about their experiences back then. So this was new. And it was sometimes like pulling teeth to get caregivers on to talk about their experience. And I'm so glad to see so many podcasts now about caregiving and how it's changed and how caregivers are now talking about their journey, showing their journey on many different platforms on social media. That makes me happy to see that, how things have changed in 6 years. That actually thrills my heart. So after talking on Jeanne's show for a year, in September 2019, Jeanne said, Betsy, you should have your own show. And I said, no, Jeanne, I can't do that. I don't have any experience. And she said, that's okay. You'll learn and you'll be fine. And so I named the show Chatting with Betsy, and I started out interviewing caregivers. And I say that Jeanne White discovered me, and Lillian Cauldwell got me out of my comfort zone. Excuse me again. And Lillian would send to me these press releases, and she would say, Betsy, I know you could do it. I know you can interview these people. And I did do it. I was really nervous about it, and I still get anxiety before a show, folks. I do. I have stage fright, even though I do audio interviews. And I became more experienced and more confident as the years went by. But I still do get to have that initial, I don't know what you call it, anxiety, I guess you would call it, before I record. And I really enjoy what I do. I'm blessed to be a host. I get to meet so many wonderful people. I get to read books, and I learn from every guest. My show is a variety of topics, which I started with caregivers, but I do have caregiving topics on, and I have other topics, people from all walks of life. And my show really can benefit anyone who's caregiving, because caregivers are people who have other interests, right? There's other interests in life other than caregiving. And I have people on who I think will benefit everyone who can learn something. I have psychologists on. I have about a little bit about politics. I have about business, biographies. I talk to doctors. I've even talked to a couple of celebrities. And when I look back, I can't believe the people that I have interviewed. And I really do have much gratitude for Jeanne White and Lillian Cauldwell. So, folks, if you're out there and you're thinking, can I be a podcast host? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I didn't set out to be a podcast host. I have to be honest, that really wasn't on my mind to do. And because I am a shy person, believe it or not, in person, I just can't believe myself that I'm doing a show where I talk to complete strangers. But I have come this way because of my advocacy, because I went in my car to do videos about caregiving, and it's all because of my husband, Matt. And so I dedicate this show in my husband's memory and Matthew Sloan's memory. because of Matt that I am a host on Chatting with Betsy. And it's because of Matt that I do have the group #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement. And Matt was the reason, my catalyst for getting into my car and doing videos about caregiving and talking about Alzheimer's and trying to dismiss the myths about it. Matt had early onset Alzheimer's, and I never thought I would even be on social media to begin with. And I just had to do it. I had to turn my anger into a positive, and it became my passion to educate people and to help people. So Chatting with Betsy came about because of my advocacy, and it is because of Matt. And so I do have to acknowledge Matt and dedicate the show. When Matt was dying, I did promise him I would keep on with my work, and I am keeping my promise. And so, folks, when you share this show, you're more than just sharing the show. You are helping someone else, and you're honoring my husband's memory. So thank you. I am deeply grateful and deeply honored when people listen and they share. And I will continue on chatting with Betsy for as long as I can. I would like to start, if I have time, and maybe next year I'm thinking of doing a series by myself where I talk about my own caregiving experiences to help caregivers out there. But this is a quick show, and I just wanted to tell you how I started on Pastoral Talk Radio Network. And if you hear this and you are interested in becoming a podcast host on Pastoral Talk Radio Network, contact Jeanne White, contact Lillian Cauldwell. You could go to the website, pastoraltalkradionetwork.com. You could Google it. I just really am so thankful that I get to do what I do. And this show really helps me be active. And actually, I did this show when my husband was dying, and it kept my mind occupied on other things other than seeing my husband deteriorate and die. And that's the truth. And folks, when you hear me talk, what you hear is 100% me. I am sharing how I feel, and I tell you the absolute truth. And if you want to follow me, you can look on my Facebook page, Betsy E. Wurzel, Wurzel. You can see pictures of Matt and my son Josh, and you can see videos that come up. And I just, I videoed Matt to help other people. I didn't know how far the ripples would go. And I just didn't know really that when I went in my car that it would affect so many people on a global scale. And I never thought that my voice would be heard on a global scale. I told my mother that. She said, your dad would be proud. And I just can't express enough gratitude, really, to all of you, Jeanne White, Lillian Cauldwell. I never worked with women before who would take me under their wing and mentor me, who I could call if I have a question, who I could call if I needed help. I never worked with people like that before. So I can tell you that if you are ever thinking about coming on to Pastoral Talk Radio Network, you will be among the best mentors that you could ever find. And I 100% am telling you my experience and the truth of my experience. I have a funny story to share with you to even help you understand what I mean by wonderful mentors. I interviewed Hadassah Lieberman, who is the late Joseph Lieberman's wife. Hadassah is still alive. Joe Lieberman passed away, I think either this year or last year. And I was said to Jeannie and Lillian, how am I going to interview Hadassah Lieberman? She's this famous person. How am I going to interview her? And they both told me, Betsy, just be yourself and you'll be fine. And, of course, I can only be myself. And, yes, the interview went fine. Hadassah is a lovely person. She wrote a book, and it was a great book, and we had a wonderful conversation. And I really just needed that, boost of support, which they gave me. And sometimes, I wonder, how am I going to talk to this guest? Am I good enough to talk to this person with all these degrees? And they would say, yes, you are good enough to talk to them. Another funny story I have to tell you is the first time a publicist contacted me, I sent it over to Jeannie to check out, make sure it wasn't a scam. I said, Jeannie, can you check this out? And is this, legit? And she said, yes, Betsy, this is legit. And I said, why would they be contacting me? She said, Betsy, they're a publicist. They want their client on your show. You do have a talk show. What else do you think? And I had to laugh because never did I imagine a PR company or a publicist contacting me to interview their client. Like, that was something I never even pictured. And I do get contacted by PR marketing people, and people find me on LinkedIn. And I am happy to say that I get booked up very quickly. And I'm just amazed, really. And I want to thank God for getting me through caregiving and for this opportunity. And I really want to thank you all again for your support. And I want to help as many people as possible. That's why I'm here. I'm here to provide resources that I wish I knew in my youth, that I wish I knew when I was caregiving. And I'm glad that there are so many other shows, that there are other people that are interviewing caregivers, that caregivers now feel comfortable to come forward and talk about their journeys. I'm here to help you. And I want to thank you. And look up and read the blogs and find out about the resources. And I always tell people, Google the guest that I have on, because there's such a wealth of information on their websites. And that's what I have to say today, folks. Thank you so much. Again, it is really an honor and a blessing to come here and to interview people and to help you, the audience, have a better life. And I wish I knew the information back when I was a teenager that I know now. And so if you're a college student and you're listening, I really hope that you benefit from the information from my shows and from my guests. And just thank you, everyone. And I'm learning at my age to have gratitude, and I do have gratitude. And again, thank you so much, everyone. Here's to a happy anniversary, and here's to another successful year of Chatting with Betsy, and that's all because of you, the listeners. And I am free. It's free to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart, Amazon Music, Apple, to name a few. And again, I have to thank Jeanne White, who's station manager, and Lillian Cauldwell, who's CEO, Passion World Talk Radio Network, who makes this all possible. Thank you. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passion World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Till we chat again, be safe. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world that you could be anything, please be kind and shine your light bright, because we sure need it. And also, before I forget, if you ever wonder, why does Betsy cough all the time, I will tell you. I have a chronic lung condition, and talking, eating, laughing brings on bronchial spasms. And it's a condition I've had for 8 years. It started midway during my caregiving journey, and I've been to a doctor, still under doctor's care, and they don't know why I have it. So I think this is how stress during caregiving affected my body. No, it was my lungs. But I'm not going to complain, because I'm grateful that I made it through 10 years of caregiving with Matt and 5 with my mother-in-law, and I'm still pretty good condition. So I'm thankful. And that's what I have to say. So thank you again, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy and Passion World Talk Radio Network. And have a good day, or good evening, or good night. Thanks for listening, and please tell your friends about Chatting with Betsy. Bye-bye now.